Welcome to the FTS podcast, Walt. We
Thank you
just
for having
met.
me.
We have mutuals.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear about your experience living in Baltimore with seeing addiction and mental health growing up, and then your personal experience in prison. So first, we were kind of just talking about it a little bit. What was it like growing up in Baltimore? Because I just moved, it's been over a year now, but I just moved across the country to Baltimore from LA. And we moved out here with like the purpose and mission of like making a change and a difference here in this community. So I want to hear about like, what have you seen in terms of addiction and such in Baltimore?
To answer the first question, what was it like growing up in Baltimore? I never even really like thought about it like that, because growing up, that's just my life. I don't really have nothing else to compare it to. And it's not until, coming home from prison or just going through stuff, and then you look back and you realize what was normal to you is like very much abnormal. It was tough. But my family, even though, certain family members of mine, even though they used drugs, both of my grandmothers, they didn't use drugs, and they was very strong. So I grew up actually with a lot of love. Like, I saw a lot of shit, but I knew that I was loved, I think, which helps me now. But it was tough. And then the particular block that I grew up on was a good street. When I was a child, there was a lot of white people on my street. And as I got older, all the white people moved away. All right, so, my early childhood, my street, my area was good. But I would say maybe early 80s, shit started to get, like, different. And the street behind the street that I grew up on was a heavy, I mean, like, no exaggeration, hundreds of thousands of dollars used to go through. The two streets behind my house, it was streets called Rose Street in East Baltimore, heavy drug streets. Like, I've never, even in, talking to guys, like, I can't even explain. Like, I just see so much money coming through the streets that is almost unrealistic now. So I think it was tough, but I was loved.
That's how I feel about my childhood. Like, there was things that weren't perfect, and that kind of sucked and hurt, and I had to like recover from in therapy and as an adult. But it's like they loved me as best as they could.
Yep.
And I experienced love. Like, I know what love is, and unconditional love.
It's important because you end up like sort of like searching for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
what was that like seeing?
Like, one of my earliest, how you can go back to like little shit that you like might have did or saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my earliest actual childhood memory, one of them is like going to, because my uncle used to live in a basement, right? He used to plumber, he used to have a bunch of tools, but one of my earliest memories would be running down the steps. It's just to mess with my uncle. But I have like a very vivid memory of going down. It was Saturday morning, and he was knocked out with a needle in his arm. And it's weird, right? So even in me remembering that, I must have already saw it, because I remember seeing him, and I already knew to go tell my grandmother. So she would come down, and we had like a routine. She would like hit him, take the needle out, throw it away, and put ice in his pants and shake him. And he would always wake up. So like, that's one of my like very first. But again, I grew up, thinking that was normal. And throughout my teens, he would always do that. I would catch him. I might have to use the bathroom. I can't get the door open. He knocked out. And it got, to the point as I got a little older, I would go in his pockets and I would keep his money. So when he wake up, he don't have no money. And I mean, it hit my family. Drugs hit my family. I have cousins. It sort of hit everybody, and, I have another uncle, and it didn't hit him that same way. He made money off it. So, and that's how I saw it, right? It was like, all right, well, I know, my perception of it was just wrong. I don't ever want to do that. However, in my neighborhood, like, everybody that I looked up to, or everybody that I thought was something, they all sold drugs. So for me, it was like, all right, well, I'm gonna benefit off it too. This is everybody I look up to, all the guys that all the girls like, all the guys
Yeah.
that got the cars, all the guys, these guys sell drugs. So I would say drugs had a negative effect on me of what I thought was cool.
I feel like that's how I started perceiving it in school as well. Cause like seeing my dad like smoke weed, it gave me like the worst taste in my mouth growing up. But then going to school and that's something like people are seeking out. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like that's what people are fucking doing now. Let's do it, right? But so you got into selling drugs.
Yes, and funny story about weed. Like, so back when I was growing up, the fucking weed used to come in like manila envelopes like this big.
Yeah.
And my grandmother used to, like, she'd sit and she would give me, like, in the morning she would give me a cup of coffee and I would sit beside her. But in the evening, might give me like a just the littlest teeny bit of beer and sip my little cup. And then she would have like her little, what it was called, J's back then. She would have like her little 3 J's. And we would sit and watch TV and she would drink her beer and smoke weed. So I grew up around weed and I used to smoke weed and drink. And for me, wild as this may sound, like those weren't drugs to
Yeah,
me.
right.
You feel what I'm saying? Because of everything else that I saw. What was your question? You just asked me something.
You started dealing.
Yeah, so what happened was my mom had moved when I was very, very young, right? My mom had moved to Cumberland, Maryland, in the same place in which I ended up doing time maybe 10, 15 years later. So she moved, she had a job drafting for the state, right? And she moved to Cumberland, very, very small town. I don't know if you probably never even heard of it, but it's at the end of Maryland, but sort of very close to Virginia. There's nothing going on. Matter of fact, I just saw something on online that the town doing so bad, they'll give you like $50,000 just to move there. It was something like that,
Wow.
50,000. Yeah, so basically I think the economy there right now is probably only surviving off of the institution there. So my mom moved up there, and I believe I couldn't have been no more than like, I don't know, 7 or 8, but I believe up there when she was living, there's nothing to do in a small town like that. I believe that her dating and living up there, I believe, I remember she was dating like an older gentleman, and I believe that he is the one that introduced her to, using drugs, like hard drugs. Because I would come home from school, it would be like a fucking tall like pipe on the table. I didn't know that. I'm thinking this was a weed pipe, but that was like
a bong.
Yeah, I thought it was a bong, but it was some type of fucking apparatus to smoke coke in.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm like very young. So, saying that, my mother, had a good job there, but she started getting high. We lost the place up there, and she moved back home. So now she's getting high. My other uncle that I mentioned, he's in and out of the house. He's getting high. My middle, because my mom has two brothers, one younger, one older. And basically by the time we moved back, my other uncle he was doing time for 2 bank robberies. So by the time my mother lost her job in the police and I moved back, I really had my dad was gone. I really had no structure. My grandmother worked at Johns Hopkins. So that's like a real popular hospital here. But anyway, like I had no family structure. I'm probably like 13 and a half or 14. And my grandmother, she goes to work at 5 in the morning. My mother in the streets. So I don't have anybody to get me school clothes. My grandmother, it was always food in the house and she loved me. But she had to take care of what she had to take care of.
She had to
So
make
it's
the
like,
money.
Nobody really to take care of me. And now at this time I'm in middle school and I'm living prior to that, again, I'm living way out in West Bummerfuck and I'm dressing funny because I'm in that environment. So one of the first things that happened, I'm dressing weird because now I'm back in the hood. And they're like, what the fuck you got on? I'm like, boy, you got on Skechers, boy, what kind of shoes is them? So I was getting ridiculed and I had to fight and my lingo different because I've been living in Cumberland for like 6 or 7 years. So I ain't like that. So, drugs were already around me. I already still knew people that, I grew up with from there. So I started selling weed first, but I was selling weed in school. So I would take weed to school. I'm selling a little bit of weed in school and also smoking weed in school. which was wild now that I think about it.
How old
but
were
like
you?
probably 14, 15. Like
So
we
freshman year of high
yeah,
school.
yeah. So no, hold
Just
up.
8th grade.
Yeah, what?
14 is like you're about to leave middle school.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
So yeah, but what happened was I got in so much trouble. I never graduated from 6th grade. I was always smart,
Yeah.
but I got put out of 3 middle schools. So
Yeah.
the 4th middle school, they just was like, well, look, it was like mid-year. They was like, look, we'll keep you here for this remainder of 4 months. But then next year, so I literally just went from 6th to 8th. Or what's high school? 9th?
9th.
Yeah, I went from 6th because like it wasn't that like I wasn't smart. I would make it through halfway through the year, do something, get put out of school, fight, get caught selling drugs. Like, so that happened to me like 3 times, and I had to go to like the Maryland school board, and they was like, look, we're gonna give you one more chance. And I skipped from 6th to 9th, but all through those years, yeah, I sold drugs, and the marijuana was good money. I think I might have making, at that age, maybe $100 a day, which was cool.
Wow.
I get me a pair of tennis, go to movies, take a girl out on a date, things like that. But, after that, maybe I did that for a year or 2, and then I graduated to selling cocaine.
How long did it take to graduate to selling cocaine?
Maybe about 2 years.
And then how did that even happen? Like, what is that like to be a young person selling drugs? Like, was it scary? Like, did people... Because I tried to be a drug dealer, and I got robbed every single time.
Shit.
Like, people were taking advantage of me, but I was also selling drugs while I was, like, high on Xanax. And it was just, like, I'd pull up to a play, and, like, 5 guys are walking up to me. I was like, this is weird, but okay, here you go. And then they just snatch the bag out of my hand, and I leave with nothing. Or... yeah, it's just one guy like just running by, and then like I try and hold on to the drug, like things like that. I was a horrible drug dealer, and I'm glad it didn't work out for me. But yeah, it was like terrifying.
I feel like I was good at it, but at the level at which most of us think we selling drugs, I can buy stuff. I might have a little bit of money, but I'm very minuscule, like on the level of the people making the fucking cartels.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You might, even if you're making fucking 15, 20, 30,000 a day, you a fucking peon. You know what I'm saying? But what was the question you asked me?
What is it like? Like, was it scary? Was it dangerous? Like, it was kind of nice. You're like, yeah, I could buy anything I kind of want. Like, I could take a girl out on a date, and
even in that, it's like the level of freedom. Like when I was, probably 16, I got guys 35 working for me. Right? So, I mean, that sort of shit helps me now, but like I'm, telling guys, grown ass men what to do. Yo, go stand on that corner. Yo, go get that money from them. And so that is a level of freedom, and you sort of accept the danger in it because you see it. Like, you see people getting locked up, you see people getting shot, and it seems normal. But what I will tell you, the first time that I got some drugs from my friend to sell, I was such a newbie. I'm all excited, like, I'm ready to sell this. I'm gonna go buy me some tennis. Yeah, so I had the drugs in my hand with putting a rubber band on them, right? I'm probably like 16, and I'm walking, and I look up, and the fucking police literally like riding right beside me, and they seen it, and they locked me straight up. So that's my first drug charge, right? And they literally, it was the easiest arrest for them ever. They was laughing like, why would you have it in your hand? I'm like, literally, it's broad daylight. I'm like, damn, I sell these drugs. And they rolled up, and like I looked at them, looked at my hand, seen them look at my hand. They just jumped out and locked me up. But I wasn't scared. But I think also that growing up, going to see, my uncles and my dad at different times in prison, I didn't grow up like as scared as I should have been in jail. Like, I should have grown up. I think average person think of jail and they're afraid. But for me, it's like, how I'm gonna be afraid? All the guys that I look up to have been here, right? So I think that may have had something to do with. And I remember going through Scared Straight in middle school, and the guy was, yeah, we'll do this to you. And I'm like, nigga, my uncle downstairs, right? Because like you go in there, you go like up up on like one of the top floors. And it was like, man,
So
fuck your uncle.
You went to a prison or a jail and they were trying to scare you straight?
Yeah, you see how scared straight is?
Like, I've seen the show, but I didn't know.
Like I went a long time ago when I was in middle school, right? And they was all in our face, but I'm just like, bro, I come in this building, like I just see my folks. So it's calling my nigga, and I'm like, yo, my uncle downstairs, bro. I'm not. He was like, he probably really knew my man. Fuck your uncle, right? I was like, all right, but yeah, I wasn't. Of course, you don't want to be in jail, but I just wasn't scared. Like even when they locked me up, I wasn't scared. So I think that had, yeah, I think that may have had like a messed up effect on me. Should have been scared.
What was like the difference between like selling weed and coke?
The people that you deal with. Like, of course, you selling weed, it's like a more laid back customer. You know, I sold weeds for a lot of girls and a lot of my friends. But when you sell like hard drugs, I know I sold coke, I sold heroin, I sold crack. Like when you sell hard drugs, you see the very worst in people. They do very like bad things, right? And you know, like for instance, I've turned down many times people around Christmas time. They come with a gift. The shit still be, you don't know what it is. Like, bro, just give me a nickel and you can like, bro, I'll give you some drugs. Take that shit back and put it back under the tree. Like people sell, you know, you see women will offer themselves to you, grown ass women, like, you know, your moms or your auntie, hey, can you? And it's just like, you know, those hard drugs like bring very, very, very like bad things out of people, and also just tears people down. Like, you know, I had a friend of mine. She's very, very pretty. Kind of, sort of. She looks like she used to look like Gabrielle Union, and she always dated older guys. But like sometimes when you're growing up, you may be 14, a girl may be 16, but she's dating somebody 20, right? And it makes her appear so much older, and she almost damn near like she grown. So then when you sort of grow up and now you hustling, you might get a chance to date that girl. And in that scenario, that's what happened. I ended up dating her, and what I didn't know, you know, I guess her dating older guys, they had introduced her to using drugs, right? I never knew. And I don't even think she might have been using them when I started to date her. But like after that, somebody killed her brother, and she started getting high. And I watched. We stopped dating, but I had watched her the drugs just like fuck her up. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was like somebody very close to me. Even though, like, you know, my mom battled with addiction. My mom always looked like my mom. Like, she wasn't like, you know, people use drugs and they look like a zombie. So, my mom, she battled, by the grace of God, she battled through addiction, but she never like lost her youthfulness or anything. But this particular girl, the drugs like really, really like fucked her up. Like, she's like a whole different person.
What is your understanding of addiction as someone who's just witnessed it? Because it doesn't seem like you personally struggled with addiction. Like maybe, yeah, you drank and smoked quite a bit, but from the way you're telling the story, it doesn't seem like you were somebody that was couldn't stop.
I think that it hit me in a different way. I think that, and I just read something recently. Like basically, short version is like if your parents are addicts, then you it's. Maybe it's like in your fucking DNA or something. But if your parents are addicts, you're probably addicts. So for me, it was, if I'm being honest, it's the hustle. So I've always been addicted to like making and I'm trying to like now being home, been home almost 10 years, like making good on that. But what I'm addicted to is like doing things my own way and making something out of nothing, and just always having a mindset of like hustling. I'm a figure something. Even in prison, I made a lot of money in jail. You know, so it's. I think that it affected me in that way. I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to like. I'd much rather like do the wrong thing than do what the average person does. So I think that it affected me that way. I'm glad I never was strung out on drugs, but I think that's how it like affected. I struggle with certain things now. Like I'm not doing that. I'll go and I'll make my own way. You know, so I definitely think that. And when I got prior to getting arrested, like I said, was drinking, smoking weed, and ecstasy was out at the time, so I was taking ecstasy, which is considered a drug.
Mm-hmm.
So, shit. When I went to prison, I made the decision. I knew I was going to be there for a long time to just stop all my bad habits and try to make good on a very, very bad situation. And during that amount of time, I still was like, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna show these guys. I'm gonna get to this money. And like 2 other guys that I was arrested with, one went home, got killed like in a year. And, the other guy we all friends, right? So one guy leave, us 2, we celebrating, and we talking to him on the phone. He died in like a year, get killed. And then my other friend, he went home on an appeal bond. He died in 6 months. So that like really had a heavy effect on me. Like I gotta do something different. So when I came home, I wanted to hustle. I wanted all those things. And every day to stop that, I just would go to the gym or I would go work out. And then, meeting people at the gym, meeting different types of people, that sort of like kept me like, even now it's like that's the one thing that I've always done just about every day since I came home. So I really feel like, and to tie this all in, that has became my addiction. Like I won't go to the gym and like hurt myself, but I'll go every day. And some people are like, yo, you go to the gym every day. My family come like, you at the gym, ain't you? So it's like, I guess for as good as possible, that's now my addiction.
No, I've seen people even after battling like addiction with substances and now being in recovery, their addiction is, the hustle. They just working their fucking ass off. Yeah. Or it is the gym. Like Lilo Brancato, his thing was the gym after his like crack and cocaine addiction. And I think we all battle with that in a certain way. Like we could be addicted to food, our phones, scrolling, dopamine, the gym, relationships, sex, love. There's so many things. And like for me, and something like I knew but didn't know, me and my therapist were talking about it recently. It's like, Laisha, you really have to see how your addiction is like showing up in your life today. Like just because you're not using substances doesn't mean it's not there. And then I was like, you know what? Like October through December last year, as soon as Call of Duty Black Ops 6 came out, I was playing that all day, every day. Like it was unhealthy. And she was like, okay, so why do you think you were playing that video game every day? And I was like, to zone out, and she was like, well, why did you use Xanax every day? And it was to like zone out, not be here, not be present. Yeah. So I was like, fuck, like that's what I have to look for in my present life today. I'm like, how am I trying to zone out and escape?
It's wild that you said it, because it's like, and with my mom, whom I love dearly, right? She doesn't use drugs. She hasn't used drugs in a very long time, maybe 30-some years. Wow. I should accurately know that number of years that she has clean, but she still has some characteristics of like she'll just still do certain things that like she used to do so she like plays numbers, she smokes cigarettes, she drinks soda. It's like she still has I'm so glad she's not doing that.
Right.
But she still has like some
those little
of those
vices.
Yeah, which is and I don't know. Sometimes I think like I guess with some of our vices, how much of it is environmental versus how much of it is like societal. The stuff that we watch, the commercials, the like our friends and shit like that.
Like so many people I've noticed like there's an addiction to like the news. Like people are hooked on like knowing like current world events,
information and it drives overload.
Yeah,
yeah,
it can drive them insane.
Yeah, I think I try not to. I was talking to my uncle about this because we watch the news and it's either somebody's on the right or the left or they're indifferent, but it's like the powers that be control the media, right? So I feel like whatever is closest to your belief, that's what you'll believe is true. Right. So because you don't rock with what they saying, or they're lying, and it's like, bro, they all could be lying. You leaning towards this because this is what you feel. So for me, I try to look at stuff and be like, yeah, I support this, I like this, but shit, they probably lying. And it only sound good to me because I like this. It doesn't mean that it's true. It's just what I like. But yeah, that should kind of make me sad. Like the amount of the news overload and the amount of like negative shit, that shit has to have an effect on us. Like every time you turn somebody fighting, or this people this, or these people don't like this, or this against religion, and it's like, bro, like show us something fucking positive, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
You'll never find something positive on the news, maybe for 15 minutes once a week.
Right. Just fucking crazy.
Yeah. To get back on the timeline, you told me a little bit about you growing up. You witnessed a lot of your mother and your uncle's addiction, and then your grandma working a fuck ton, but still like trying to support and show you love. And then you started school trouble. You started selling weed, and then graduated to cocaine. And then what was the downfall from that? Like, how did you even end up in prison?
So all through the time of me selling drugs, I always would get in trouble. But one of my friends introduced me to a very, very good lawyer. So a lot of times I'll get in trouble, and he would get me out of trouble. What ultimately ended up happening, I had a couple of charges looming. Like I ended up getting locked up for a felony, got bailed out, locked up for another felony.
What were the felonies?
Felonies, just drug charges, gun charges, a house raid, 2 guns was in the house. Like, you know, if you got locked up for a house raid, like everything in the house, everybody getting locked up.
Really?
Yeah, so, but if, you know, if drugs or a gun, and it's not your house, right? If you get locked, I hope you never do, right? But if you get locked up in a house raid and the drugs or guns aren't in plain sight and it's not your house, then the argument is, how did I know drugs were in the house?
For sure.
So I was able to, you know, beat those charges, right? 4 open felonies. And the fourth one, like 3 open felonies, automatic, no bail. My lawyer was able to get me another bail. I bailed out. I beat those charges. But I'm sorry, the last charge I couldn't bail out, so I was locked up like 6 months. And that should have been my wake up call. So I beat those charges, came right back home, still selling drugs. And what ultimately ended up happening, I got caught in another investigation, and a few dudes got shot in my neighborhood, and I also ended up getting shot, and I ended up shooting somebody as well. And while all of this is going on, I get shot, so I'm in the hospital. After they did surgery, so of course when you get shot, you know, police will come and they'll say, you know who shot you, whatever, right? I'm like, no, I don't know who shot me. So like a week later, they came back, and they basically was like, I'm like, why are y'all here? It was like the same office in a different place. Well, why are y'all here? I told you I don't know. I'm healing good now. I can talk. And I was like, why are y'all here? I told you I didn't know who shot me. And they was like, oh, no, you got you on another investigation for this, and this. And somebody, fingered you and shooting and this, that, and the third. So they arrested me right out of the hospital. So while I'm healing from being shot, they come and...
How are you not like shitting yourself through all of this? Like multiple house raids, multiple felonies. Was it just like that normalized for you in your life? Or was it because like, you spent your whole life seeing people get arrested, go in and out of jail, a lot of violence, a lot of drug dealing? Like what was it?
I think that I'm dealing with it worse than I ever have like now. Like I'm perfectly fine, but I'll have like periods of where I can't shake a shitty mood, right? Or if I'll get up and it's raining and I'm in a shitty mood, or it's sunny and I feel like I should be in a good mood. And I think that the older I'm getting due to my children, my grandkids, I think that I'm getting softer. And the softer that I get, things are affecting me different. I'm probably, and speaking about therapy, like they put me in therapy in middle school and summer high school. So I was in like a program. I'm gonna get back to what I was wishing on, but I was in a program where like one day a week, half of that day I would go to therapy. I had a therapist, right? And the other half of the day I would actually go to a real job that didn't help me, but the therapist helped me. Where was I? I was talking about. I hate when I do that. What would you?
You're
ask me?
more sensitive now.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck are you coping with all these house raids, investigations, felonies?
I've also taken like damage in the street. I've been shot 2 different times, stabbed like 12 times.
Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You say it's so like the reason I'm like digging more is because you say it so casually, and I don't know what that feels like that fear of violence.
Because I'm not a victim.
Mm.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, of course, who wants to get shot, right? But I've shot people. I've also stabbed people. I've done things, right? So it's like maybe I would feel different if I just like I didn't have anything to do with anything. Somebody just shot me, and it's like I know that game. Like I know that that come with one thing. I guess from having folks going in and out of prison, it's like you only death or jail. That's your things, right? That's your options. You got to accept that. So I think I make sense of it out of knowing that like I'm not a victim. Anything that happened to me is because I done something, whether directly or it was karma or I guess too what I realized, and I don't want to. I mean, who the fuck wants to fucking die, right? But shit, everybody got to do it. So how can it be bad? But I realized that in those situations, I'm not scared. I don't panic, right? Who cares about that really? But like, I noticed like I fought with the guy when I got shot one time, and I didn't panic. I got shot. Shit, I walked around the corner, knocked on my friend of mine's door. He called. He was like, I heard shooting. All what's going on? I was like, yeah, I'm shot. And he was like, what? Called the ambulance. I sat on the steps. But that's what I know about myself, that I won't panic during those situations. But I think that I am dealing with it somewhere, because I be having like, I never think of nothing crazy. I just being like the shittiest moods sometime. And I think I probably have to do some digging. It's like, all right, what's going on? Why do you? I'll do that in relationships, right? Like if me and you friends and I say something wrong or you say something, I'll go in our process. And I'm like, what could I have done better? But I do that for the people that I care about, and I'll assess myself. But I think that I might have to take a real, just me, myself, and I, and take a real fucking deep dive, because it probably is like some lingering shit. But
have you yet like to really process and dig deep in all this time?
I don't think so, because even in doing that amount of time, I did 10 fucking years, all of my 20s. So it's like sometimes I think about like, you lost all your 20s, some of your friends buying houses, they got this, they doing this, and the only equalizer that I've had to sort of nullify me feeling like that is taking good care of my body and working out every day. And it's like, all right, you did the 10, but nobody can look at you and tell. Like people still think you 35, bro. You 47. So that helps me, right? But if I really like go there and think about that, I haven't really sat down and said and allowed myself to feel that, like, bro, you did 10 years, or bro, you've been shot, or bro, you've been stabbed, or bro, that those things are shit. My dad did a bunch of time. My uncle did a bunch more time than me, right? So it's like on the tree that I come from, that's normal, right? It's normal. I couldn't go to either one of them. They would be sympathetic as well as empathetic to me. If man, the time did, and it's like, shit, man, I did 18 years, or shit, man, I did 20 years. And my other uncle, he's done 42 years. His brother did 30 some years. Yeah. Came home and died like 3 years after doing like almost 40 years. So I'll have to do some unpacking for sure. For sure.
Do you have any regrets?
Oh shit, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah. When I was real young, I was just like a very mischievous kid. Like I would like bust people's windows, shoot people with like BB guns. I have like, I'm serious. Like I've been mistreated, women, not necessarily physically, but like playing games and lying and you know, hell yeah. I just try to just do better as I go.
For sure.
Just try to,
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
it's like not learn from that mistake.
Yeah.
But do you have regrets in terms of like you would change that, or are you glad you did it because now like you fucking learned almost like the lesson?
I have regrets and just in the word regret, but I'm fully aware that like if I change anything, it changes where I'm at now, right? Like I can't. Like I can regret it. I can, apologize or like, yo, I wish that wouldn't have happened. But if I change anything I saw, anything I did, it would change now. You pull one string, everything is different. Like, so it's like, yeah, I have regret, but what I'm gonna do?
Same with me. Like I've put because my thing that I feel the most regret and guilt from is like drunk driving and just like driving in the middle of blackouts. Because like the amount of lives I put in danger on a day-to-day basis, because like I always felt the need to get behind the wheel not sober, is insane. And it's an absolute miracle I never hurt anybody's life. At the same time, it feels weird to say, like I don't regret doing that because it led me right to where I am today and who I am today.
I used to, you drank, right?
I drank and did Xanax.
Let me tell you something. I used to drink so much that I thought, honestly, right? I thought that I did everything better drunk.
Exactly. That's what we used to tell each other. Dude, I drive better drunk.
Yeah.
I can talk better. I can have sex better drunk. All that shit.
I'm gonna go drink this drink, then I'm gonna go talk to them girls.
And then you're actually just making a fool of yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I remember one time I had some girls with me and I was very drunk. And I sideswiped like 7 cars. And they was screaming. I just kept driving. I didn't even stop. And another time, driving drunk, it was my partner. It's his car. He too drunk. It's his car. Man, my other partner, he driving. We twisted. Like every light we get to, we did this for about 7 lights. Every fucking light we get to, he look at me. It's a red light. He look at me. He look at me. I look back and I say, yeah, he run a light, right? He run about 7, 8 lights. That 8th light, I'm like, yeah, he run it, and we hit a guy. Boom, the guy car spins around. My homeboy bust his nose. My homeboy in the back broke his hand. It was a bad accident, right? And I in slow motion, I seen the car spinning, and the car, by the grace of God, the car stopped. Probably as close as this table is. Mm-hmm. That's the light pole. And we was going, I don't know, like God just stopped it, right? So I'm like, oh shit, man, we almost was probably out of here. Meanwhile, the guy is, what happened, bro? Y'all ran a light. So, but he's in the right? He got the right of way. We hit him.
Yeah.
So my man in the back, he was asleep. He don't know what's going to. So me and my partner, we know we ran a light. We jump out and chase the guy. Like, yeah, you. And he like, bro, y'all ran a light. So we chase him. He runs. We go all in his car, take all this shit out of his car, throw it in the street. Police come, my man car was still driving. I think the guy had to get his car towed. And even to this day, I don't think that he knows. Like, we just kept it in house.
That's fucked up. But that's the shit, bro. Yeah. That's the shit. And
that's the shit.
It's funny. You did something in the wrong.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it's not funny, but it's And what makes it worse is that we laugh at this horrible shit today, and it comes off as so wrong. But like we know it's horrible.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. We do something in the wrong and then get mad at the person for the incident or getting hurt.
I forgot all about it. I'm locked up, pre-trial, right? So 2 years after that, I'm locked up fighting a charge. And I'm in Baltimore City jail, and I'm a working man job. So a working man, you bring the trays and feed guys, sweep the floor and stuff like that. That's how you get to stay out of your cell. So, and it's a section, then it's a hallway, then it's another section. The sections is where we housed at. So I remember, mind you, I forgot all about that. And one of my partners coming out, he like, yo, I even forgot the guy's name, but let's just say Kevin. He comes to me, he's like, yo, the dude Kevin just want to know if anything cool, can y'all squash that? And I'm like, bro, I don't know no fucking Kevin. What are you talking about? He like, yeah, yo, a few years ago, yo, y'all hit his car and y'all chased him. And, he try and squash it, but, you know what I mean, with you. And I'm like,
wait, this guy was in fucking...
He was in jail, and he would have had to drop. He could have probably... it wouldn't have worked out well for him, but he probably could have did something to me or got something done to me, and I wouldn't have known because I forgot all about it. So I'm like, sure, yeah, we can squash it. Like, shit. You know what I mean? And I ended up hollering at him, you know what I mean? And we chopped it up or whatever, and it wasn't nothing, but it could have been because I was fully exposed, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, crazy shit I used to be into, man.
What was prison like, though? Because I know there's politics, there's things you do and don't do, there's people you click up with and don't. Like, what? And you said you were actually like at a point when you were doing those 10 years where you actually just wanted to do better for yourself.
Yeah. So like my first, so it's like it's two different things, right? Like jail is jail, of course, right? You know, everybody can agree on like the simple things of what jail is, but pre-trial is like when you waiting whether you're gonna go home or not, right? That's very different than jail because of the amount of people in and out, right? So that's still like sort of wow, right? Because you got guys constantly coming in, guys going home, constantly coming in. Nobody knows. And it's limited to the stuff that you can have. And it's sort of like no real structure, right? Because nobody is there for a very long time. So, you know, going through that, like being in pretrial before I actually received any time, I did that many times because some of the charges I would get locked up, get a no bail, might sit for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then bail out. My very first experience of actually going in there, it was scary, smelly. It's a bunch of noise, the metal. I was fucking scared. I think the first time I actually like went, I might have been 16 and a half, 17, like going to jail. And I had I had attempt armed robbery charge when I was like 16. A guy gave me a ride. Man, my buddy gave me a ride, and when we went to get dropped off, it was my buddy's bright idea, like, yo, just don't even pay him. And we went to jump out the car, and he grabbed my buddy. So I ran in the house, got a gun, and I pointed it at him, and yo, let my buddy go. And he let him go. And when he jumped out the car, I shot at the guy's truck, right? I didn't shoot it, I just shot at it, right? And the guy went home, came right back with the police, and I got charged with attempted armed robbery. I was like, I wasn't trying to rob him. I was trying to but anyway, I went to jail for that. I mean, I went to jail for that, and it took a second. I sat for a little while on that charge. I had like a semi-high bail for that, and that was like my first real experience. I was locked up for, I think I actually got a year for that charge. So I sat, and I believe that I did a year. I don't think I bailed out on that at all, but that was like my first real time, and it was fucking scary. You know what I'm saying? Like in theory, I wasn't scared of jail until I actually went to jail, and I remember at that time, like. You could write from institution to institution. So although my dad and my uncle were locked up, they both, my dad really raised my uncle, right? So they're very, very similar, but also very different. So once they heard I was locked up, I got like damn near very similar letters from both of them on, you know, just mind your fucking business. Don't look at nobody's cells. You know, stay away from, you know, gang shit. You know what I mean? They both, it was like, you know, things what not to do in prison. Don't be looking at nobody, fucking cell, mind your business, and all this sort of shit. And I saw a lot of fucking crazy shit. Guys getting like stabbed and guys making money selling cigarettes. But maybe in my like 4th month, I was bored, and I was still very young, so I had a bright idea to throw water on guys. Now that I think about that, I don't know, it's guys out there for murder and you name it. So it's me and another young guy. And with these same cups, like little cups like this, we fill them up with water. And like how it is like you got a top tier and a bottom tier. So you can like sort of like stick your head under the bottom tier. So we looking at cells and we just throwing water. So throw water on a guy, and he comes upstairs and he was like, yo, who threw the water, right? So I'm like, man, he big guy too. So he gonna probably beat me up or beat my buddy up. So I hit him, right? And he beat me up, right? So the other guys, they come, they break it up, right? So now I'm embarrassed. I'm like, man. So we lock in for the night. So I'm like, I'm gonna get this guy. I'm gonna get him. So they open the doors for breakfast in the morning. I run back in the cell and fight him again, right? He literally it's a grown ass man. He pushed me out there, yo, somebody get this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So guys come break it up again. But after that, the guys thought I was, even though I got beat up, the guys like, this motherfucker crazy. So I never had any, the guy ended up being cool, and I never really had, the only problem I had was the problem I started. But that sort of set the tone. And the older guys start talking to me like, man, you gotta calm down, shorty, and
It had to be like an ego thing.
Yeah.
For sure. It was just like, I'm bored. I need to establish dominance here.
I'm probably my ego, or just also being stupid, right? Because it's like not even being aware of the environment. You literally locked up with guys that are home killing people, selling drugs. Like, you locked up with violent guys, and you playing.
Mm-hmm.
So by the grace of God, I needed that ass whipping though. I needed that because that set me straight. I really stopped fucking playing after that.
Good.
But because you did ask me, the difference is, when you go into a institution, that's a lot different. The first thing I noticed getting hard time and going to an institution was the prison looked like college. It's clean, it's a bunch of grass, dudes mowing the lawns and shit. It looks like you literally look like you walking into a campus.
Y'all in dorms.
Yeah, and some institutions do have dorms too, but it's different in that these guys are settled. Things still happen, but they usually happen for a fucking reason, and it's a lot of politics. So it's like if for instance, you the head of some organization and I'm the head of some organization, and the police will know. They'll know that you are the shot caller in this building for X, Y, because dudes be snitching. So a lot of times what they'll do is if we got an event coming up, family day or something coming up, they'll pull the two heads of any specific, and they'll pull them in the office and say, well, look, if X, Y, Z happens, we're going to put you on admin segregation, which is basically lockup. And so order is kept in a sort of different way, because you got guys yo, I don't give a fuck what's going on. I want to see my family this week, and these people talking crazy, so let's try to fix this. Yeah. And then sometimes things happen it just might happen, right? So
that's nuts. So they really work with the inmates, the police.
Yeah, not in a way that.
But it's to keep peace.
Yes, and not in a way that guys that are running shit are snitching. It's yo, we know that you running shit. You don't confirm or deny. We caught some mail. We know what the fuck is going on. Now, if something happens, we don't need a reason. We'll put you on admin or whatever. And it's if you doing your time and maybe you run something, but you looking forward to seeing your fucking family or whatever, you be yo, y'all need to chill that shit out so I can go see, my family will see. So, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You can't control men, right? Stuff just happens.
With the violence, I feel like that's something I want to dive into more.
Prison?
In prison and out on the streets, because you said you've shot at people have shot at you, you've been stabbed, you've stabbed people. It's how does that affect you now to this day?
I'm sure
even just seeing violence in the household, for me, that still fucking affects me today. A man raising his voice or getting even somewhat angry and hostile makes me uncomfortable as fuck today. And then you experienced that times 100. How does that affect you?
We're gonna have to get back to it, because I can't really tell. What I do know is if I get angry, it could be at a traffic stop. That does cross my mind, violence to I have to remind myself, one, you're not in the street. Two, this guy honked at you. He doesn't. I'll literally want to get out. Sometimes I envision myself getting out and slapping the shit out of somebody. Seriously. So it's bro, you gotta that's not. You're not in an environment. You know that you're not a tough guy, right? At least I don't fancy myself, a tough guy. But I guess it's in that environment, man. If you don't react like that, you fool. Even if you're scared, you better go do something, or you ain't gonna be able to make no money because you pussy. Ain't nobody gonna let you get no money. You let somebody do something to you, now you selling drugs, dude's gonna come take your drugs. You ain't gonna get no girls because you pussy. He not tough, he let XYZ. I don't wanna date him. Like, so, you know, you sort of like, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do it, you know, through fear. And then some guys, I do have friends, they don't, like, they very cold. But I've always, anything I did, I have a conscience. A lot of shit I did, you know, I regret it. A lot of shit I did, not everything I did scared, but like I always knew, you know how they had the little angel and the little devil? I always had an angel. I always will know before I do something that I shouldn't do it, but then I'll look at, you know, how does that affect me in this environment? So, you know, I would do it. Yeah, I can't really answer. I can't really answer how, you know, I can't really answer how, but I know it affects me, and I know that thinking about, because I'm not a violent person. I have done violent things, but when I'm upset, maybe I'm a violent person then. I wouldn't say I'm a violent person because I'm not doing any acts of violence, but when I'm upset, I definitely think, I don't think about like killing nobody, right? But I definitely think like, this motherfucker cut me off, I would slap the shit out of him. So I think maybe
there's power in like knowing like, oh, I've done that before and I'm choosing not to now. There's so much power in that.
Like seriously. And sometimes when somebody does something to me, I'll live in that. Like, bro, like I'm really one of those type of people. But yeah, I also know that I have people relying on me. So it's like, that's important. It's like, yo, the going to jail and breaking the laws and doing all of that shit, I was being selfish. I had a child already. So I was, you know, I look at that now like, bro, like you were being selfish. You might have felt like you owed the street something or you were standing for something, but really you weren't standing for nothing. You was being selfish. You end up leaving your fucking kid, bro. So now going through that always like plays in the back of my mind. Like, yo, every morning, somebody's waiting on you to come in the door and take her to school, bro. So I may have those feelings, but I'll like, all right, yo, what's more important to you feeling like nobody ain't playing with you or you being there for your kid, right? So that really, really helps me tremendously.
What was it like reintegrating after prison?
Not too tough because I had, back then, 2000, this what I'm about to say is very normal now, but it wasn't normal then. But I had cell phones like in 2010, right? So like I still was abreast to what's going on, and
that's true. They got phone. They have everything in there. You can make full meals, full to the best of your ability, and fucking get a tattoo.
Yeah, I got a lot of
people go live from prison.
Yes. Now, I was just talking to somebody about this. Like a lot of this shit that you see, those are private prisons. It's very, very different than a state-ran facility. You do some shit like that in the state, that's directly affecting politicians. Like, yo, this is a state-run facility. Who the commissioner answer to, I guess, the governor, whoever, like that chain of command, yo, they got fucking cell phones. They live in Cumberland or Hagerstown or just like they not. That shit ain't happening. You can get some motion, right? You can make something happen for a little while, but you can't be like that. Like, we used to do all sorts of shit. Like they would come through. They had like before I left, they had like an apparatus that I don't know what kind of like scanner it was, that if you had a cell phone, they could know.
Like scan.
Yeah.
Something.
So like we had like a tech guy, right, on our section, and basically what he figured out was that if you wrap the cell phones when typing paper, the purple paper that go on the typewriter, the old typewriters, if you wrap, I forgot the name of it, like you wrap the cell phones in that, and he would like open up a radio, stick the cell phone in there, so when they would x-ray it, because that's what they would take all our shit, x-ray it, look at the cell phones, and the fucking cell phones, you couldn't tell. And it's like the level of shit, like, yo, bro, how the fuck would you know that, right? So that's how we, were able to like keep them. But I was pretty, sort of like abreast to what was going on, because I still would talk to people, and I still knew like as things would change, because it's like every year you do in prison, it's slow, right? Even though you got to retain time still, it only seems quick when you finished it, right? But Every year you do in prison is like 3 years home, right? It's just so much shit happening. And I don't feel like I came home with some money. So like I really didn't like skip a beat. I came home and I was, like I told you, I just came home and, just start going to the gym. I ran a couple of like marathons and shit like that.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's hard.
I would be in myself sometimes just fucking daydreaming. Like I'll be watching the guys run marathons and shit. And the window will be open so I could smell what outside. I feel like I'm watching these guys run. I got my headphones. I would fucking daydream. So it's like, what I realized too is I'm a real simple person. So like just being home, just waking up, like I remember I kept waking up like that first week. I just kept jumping up, like going downstairs, opening the refrigerator, like the most simple shit. I'm going to the door, just looking out the door, sitting on the steps, like the most simplest shit. I was blessed, like, because I also know guys that have came home, they don't know anything, they don't know how to use a cell phone, they don't know, the bus schedule, they don't know. So, but that didn't really affect me.
And you decided to leave your old life behind with dealing in.
Yeah, I mean, I like my whole environment, like my area. Yeah, I never went back. Like I've never even set foot on the street again. Like I never, like some of my friends like, bro, come through, what you scared or what? And it's like, nah, bro. Like I want to give myself a real shot, and that's why I told you, like the two guys that I was locked up with that were from around my area. Like we would talk about I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna show them dudes, I'm gonna do this, and it's just like them guys was doing the same type of stuff that I was doing, if not more, right? And they were brutally murdered, both of them, right? So it's like what do I think is possibly gonna happen to me if I go home? And then it's like I knew that I beat a bunch of charges, I got shot, I could have got a shit ton more time than I did, and it's like, yo, God get you through all of that, and you still gonna go back? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I left that identity, and that's like a difficult thing for guys, right? I was able to like just let go of that identity and start a new one, right? I think that's what's difficult for guys, right? Because it's like you make your bones in this area, and everything that you feel like you are is associated with that area. So God, they don't want to leave because it's like, bro, like they won't say it, but in their mind, it's like, yo, who am I if I'm not here?
Right.
Who am I? So, I just never went back, and I just wanted something. I wanted something different. So
For
I just
sure.
I never went back.
And then you got involved in your children's life. You said you have two.
Yeah. And I mean, this with my oldest daughter, it's still a process. We love her. She's my baby, but I know that it like I feel like your first maybe 8 years of your life, you need to be around both your parents. Like God designed it that way, right? You should be around your kids, like in your kids' life, but those very, very important years, because to me, right, like those are the years that you can put you in, right? The first, I think it's like 1 to 8. I ended up seeing an article somewhere, like your kids, that's like a developmental stage. It might be 1 to 7, but let's just go to 8. Like I wasn't there for her. So maybe some stuff that she does, she has a lot of my ways, but like certain things that she does, I know that she wouldn't have those characteristics because I would have been around and say, hey, don't do that. But then in hindsight, I also wouldn't have been the man that I am now. That's like a very like bittersweet pill for me to swallow, right? Because it's like, all right, well, yeah, I missed all that time, but I wouldn't have been the person that I am now, right? So, yeah.
Do you guys have a good relationship today?
Yeah, hell yeah. But it's like, I gotta explain it. Like, we can go periods of time without talking, right? Maybe a week or something like that. And it's like, she's grown used to not, you feel what I'm saying? Like she's used to like living a life without, like if she needs something, she know I'm there, right? But it's just like, that every day, like think about somebody you grew up in a house with, you call them your sister. You got sisters?
I got a brother and
Y'all
a half
talk?
sister. That's the thing with me and my family. I can go a long time without talking to them, which I feel bad about.
Same. That's what we was getting at. Same. The only thing that's different now is with my little girl, because she doesn't really have any, she has, she doesn't have any family here. She's half Korean. So like I try to like, I'm always like around, I see her every day. I try to talk to her often, but we are my mom's side, my immediate family, that's how we are. We all been through some tough times. If we call us to let somebody know something, like we don't really have like holiday events together. Like, I spend more time, doing things with my girlfriend's family. Because she like this is very much a lot more family oriented, but like my people are like that. Like my dad we'll talk, but like if he calls for a reason, or if we do talk, we chop it up real quick. All right, I'm cool, you cool? All right, how you? Yeah, boom. So like that.
That's what it's been with my family. It's like, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
Things are good.
Yeah.
And call ends. Yeah, I definitely feel more attached to like the person I'm with's family, because they always seem to be more family oriented. I'd rather be with somebody that's more family oriented because I'm not.
Yeah.
I
think that's dope. 'Cause I sort of have, like adopted my girlfriend's family. Basically, that's like my family. So now I look forward to like dinners and stuff like that. And I also think that stuff that, if you open to it, like stuff that you may not have grown up with, you'll end up getting it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like
you'll end up receiving it maybe later in life.
Yeah. So it's like shit. I would have liked to have gotten it. I feel like I need that, and then you end up getting it. I think too. Like I definitely went through something missing all that time out of my daughter's life, and having another daughter could never replace it.
Yeah.
But I literally would feel like I'm missing my kids' life, right? And I guess God's answer to that is like, all right, I'm gonna help you here. I'm gonna give you another, not to replace anything, right? But
almost another opportunity.
Yeah, but it's like that. I guess my point is like, it's almost like, and it could be about anything that you feel like you need. God might not give it to you from who you need it from, but if you open to it, you'll get it. Right? You might want the attention from your dad, and you don't get it from your dad, but you get it from your fucking coach. And if you open to it, you'll realize like, well, shit, I didn't get that from my dad, but I got it from my coach. You feel what I'm saying? I think that life would, like, if you're a conscious person, right? Like, if you believe in some things, I think life, does that for you.
Well,
God does that for you, rather. Yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like personally right now I'm struggling to connect with God. I don't think I'd be where I am without God working in my life. Like, it's so obvious God has been working in my life.
100%.
But right now I feel like maybe I have slightly of a God-shaped hole that I'm trying to fill.
Same.
Yeah, so like what's your relationship with God, a higher power? What does that look like for you, and has it helped you?
I believe in God. For sure, right? Because of the stuff that he's done for me. But sometimes where I fall short, I don't always pray. I don't always get up and give thanks. Or I'll beam in on giving thanks when I'm going through something, or I'll pray when I'm going through something. And it's like, I got to do better with that.
We only pray in like desperation.
Yeah.
And that's, I want to not do that.
It's I just need to be better with that. Or sometimes like I don't question God, right? But I was like, bad shit, I'll see something bad, and it's like, I know we're not supposed to do that. I mean, like, bro, like, why did that happen, bro? Why? You know what I'm saying? So I struggle with shit like that, but I most definitely believe in God. I don't know if you saw it just in Silver Spring. Goddamn baby fell like 7 stories in the bushes, and the baby was perfectly fine.
Actually, I did think
so it's like that. Shit like that. It's like science can't even explain that, bro.
Right.
Like, so it's like there is a God. Like so it's like, some shit will happen with a reaffirm that, like, yeah, bro, believe in God. But my day to day, I think that I get bogged down with a bunch of shit that probably really don't mean nothing. But it's like, it's your life, bro. Tell it to the people that you pay rent to, or tell it to AT&T, or tell it to, like, people who got bills and responsibilities. And, managing, I guess, the balance of like the things that you have to do, your wants, your fears, your goals, you should be anchored in faith, but a lot of times we're focusing on those things, and then when something happens, then we go pray.
Right.
When it should probably be like, let me start with the relationship with God.
That should
right?
be like the base.
Yeah.
Of all.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, like, I think a lot of our shit is like society, man. Like, it's nobody's fault, right? Like, whether it be, social media, TV, drugs, your friends, like, you have all these like external things going on
that keep you busy, your mind occupied, and then you're like, oh wait, I think I forgot about God.
100%. You think like when you got leisure time, most people now when they got leisure time, they on Instagram or TikTok or X or whatever.
Yeah.
And one time if you had some leisure time, you would probably read a fucking book. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I think we getting further away from like, I mean, like getting further away from like simple things that are like good for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Last thing I want to ask you about is grief and coping with grief, because you had close people to you that passed away.
Yeah.
And I think you also told me your uncle passed away from an overdose. My uncle
actually, in my fifth year, in the course of 2 years, my great grandmother died. My uncle died of an overdose. My mother went to his house. She would go to his house and see him. She was in there 45 minutes. The same uncle that I was seeing growing up, with needles and shit, right? My mother was in there for half an hour when he was just sitting in the chair dead. And she went to say something and she realized he was cold. He died. And I got the pictures of his funeral. And his son, which is my cousin, right? He was in the picture after the funeral. He just had like a very fucking sad look on his face. And he died 2 weeks after I got the picture. He was killed. And so it's like in the space of me doing 10 years, I lost like not just 4 family members, but like 4 family members that I would see. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. With grief, man, I don't you just never really get over it. I think for me, I just, like most people, over time, I just, I've never gotten over it, but it just becomes easier to live with over time, if that makes sense. So, and I'm not necessarily like a scared person, and I guess this goes back to faith, right? I'm afraid to lose anybody else. I don't want to lose anybody else. I know that that's like very fucking unrealistic, but I look at the people in my life. I don't have a lot of people in my life, and the people that I have are really fucking important to me. And if I'm scared of anything, not even something happening to myself, but I look at the people that I have, and I'm like, my parents getting older, I just be scared. I be scared of shit like that. And I don't even like that. I'm scared of that because I know it's nothing I can do about it. But
right.
Yeah, that's
but
the thing with grief. This
is what gives me comfort with losing parents.
You don't have your parents?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, this is what gives me comfort with the thought of losing my parents, is that the whole point is almost for you to outlive them.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's honestly something I'm like mentally preparing myself for. And it's like, no, this is like how it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to outlive them.
Yeah. They'll tell you.
Yeah. I should be burying them. They shouldn't be burying me.
That's a fear. Like, you have kids, you think about fucking like, yeah. And I'm a granddad already. And I'm already older than.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm already older than my fucking grandmothers were when I was born. I think my grandmother was like 44 and 47. I'm 47, right?
Yeah.
So the shit came so fast. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, bro? Like, my grandmothers as well as my grandfathers are gone.
Yeah.
So on the leg of life, I'm a grandparent already. Like, wait till you get there. Like, holy shit, right? So, yeah. But yeah, I guess I like, you definitely as a from a parent's perspective, as a parent, like, you definitely, because you start talking to your kids like, man, you got to do this, and my little girl probably looking at me like, why is you talking like that? But in my mind, it's like explaining to her like, look how I am. I'm 47. Look how I'm moving around. Look how it's a chance that when you're 47, I'm gonna be, if I'm alive, gonna be very fucking old. Think about that, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel fucking young, and it's like my daughter will still be young, but you know, I may have another 50 years, but it's like
I see youth in you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Seriously,
I appreciate
mentally,
that.
soulfully, physically, all that.
I appreciate that. And that hasn't left me. Like, I have to remind myself to not do stupid shit because I still feel like I have to be aware of my thoughts. Like, bro, you need to chill on that, bro. You 47. So I still struggle with that.
How we kind of, before we even kind of started the episode, we were talking about that a little bit. You were like, you seem older than your age, but you also, I see like the inner child in you almost, in a sense. And that's been my fear. I feel like I haven't been connected with my inner child because I was growing up too fast.
Yo, that's a really good fucking assessment.
Yeah. So like now in adulthood, I am trying to tap into like having fucking fun. Like, stop taking shit so seriously. It's not always like life or death.
That's how I am.
You know what I mean? Like, so, and like just really connecting with like who little Laisha was is like a goal I'm trying to have right now, because I am like, I'm thinking about like fucking money, bills, adulting. What is my future gonna look like? And it's like, no, I should just have like fun and in the present moment connect with people, love people, like cry, like play, all those things that we just like don't do as adults.
The shit you're doing right now with the facility and this is gonna secure your future. I guess think about, and it could be something really, it could be fucking playing with Legos or like Barbie dolls, or like think of skateboard and like think of like something that used to bring you joy, right? And go and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be something silly, it could be something that, you know, like I said, for me, it was gym. It became like, you know, I was escaping, you know, in jail. I started working out, and then, you know what I'm saying? So now it's like, that's one thing. I used to actually like playing video games a lot, but I haven't really gotten back into it because I know the amount of time I'm going to waste doing it. So I haven't bought. We probably ready to buy like a Nintendo Switch for the house, but I never really got back into it. So I was like one of them like Bigfoot gamers. Like, I would go to the, back then, right? You weren't even born, but like back then, in order, I'm serious, like Resident Evil, Tomb Raider, Tekken.
I know, I'm familiar though.
So, but no, like, you had to go and get these games from the store, and wasn't no cheat codes and nothing. You had the book would be about this thick, about $55, and it would tell you like all the codes. And so I was one of them ones. And if they didn't have a book, I would order the book. So I go read the book. I'm playing the boards.
Yeah.
Like, I was really into that.
Same.
Shit.
And I love video. I used to game a lot as a kid, and I like recently, like the past year, have gotten back into it. But I feel guilty spending, like, wasting my time on it because I'm supposed to be productive.
Yeah. So like, I didn't want to have to deal with that, because I'm like, you anything like I was, I would be on a game until I beat the game. And I think that's almost probably very difficult now, because I'm pretty sure the games are a lot longer.
Yeah.
But it would probably take me, I would play a game 3 days straight.
Yeah.
Just eat, you know, maybe run somewhere real quick, come right back, and then like be obsessed.
Yeah.
So now you have so many more games. It would probably be bad for me. Maybe that's something I'll pick up when I'm 65 or something. Like, I don't have everybody old. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get back in the game. And now,
before we wrap, what do you do now? What's your job?
Train.
You're a trainer?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Like, just the gym trainer?
Gym trainer. I have a couple clients. I go to their houses and train.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, but also, I'm in the mind to like start a business, because I also learned about, you know, credit, business credit, you know, everything that it is to understand, you know, underwriting, and to be lendable, to be able to, how to build a relationship with a bank.
Yeah.
So that was important for me to figure out, because it's like, you know, or if I do want to go, you know, forward with training and possibly open a gym at some point, or it's still that hustle. So
that's
the
good.
hustle that I talked about is like, all right, well, while you still figuring something out, and I got into training because I would be working out. People always ask me stuff, and it's like, yo, how do my bicep? And I'm like, I just touched my pec. It's like, bicep, what the fuck is that? So people would ask me like, yo, my rhomboid and my rotator cuff. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, your back. You do shoulder press for your and pull-ups for your back. So it's like, damn, yo, people were asking me, and then people were asking me to train them, and I didn't know the terms. So I was like, all right, well, go, and I got certified with NASM to be a personal
That's
trainer.
sick.
And yeah, I think that for me, also the hustle part was learning how whatever I want to do, learning how to go and get the financing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people will tell you, they'll beat you over the head. I got this idea, and it's like, well, you got the money? No. So it's like, one thing I want to teach myself is like, all right, while you figuring out the next phase, figure out how to go get the money.
Yeah, we need a lot of like this whole fucking podcast, like a lot of money goes into it, which is crazy.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So and that's when I was talking about my homeboy with his podcast. I'm like, look, yo, you already got good credit. You go start your company, and the same way you open a personal account, you open a business account, and the same way you stimulate a personal account, you stimulate a business account, and then you can go and get a brand new business. Even like, let's say this is Wells Fargo. You got good credit, you go to Wells Fargo, you open a business account, put money in there. One thing I learned how to do is like, when I open my business account, I put like 5 bands in a business account, and basically,
you're popular.
Yeah, banks, the way that they report information, it's like after 90 days, they'll report basically having money in an account after 90 days, basically it gives you a bank rating.
Yeah.
So with business, like if you already got good personal credit, you got a business account, they're going to give you a business line of credit or business funding based off of the relationship you have with them and your personal credit. So even in something like this, it's like, I wouldn't have wanted to go in like a lot of debt for the equipment, but it's just like understanding that it's like, well, all right, well, I need, 10 bands for my equipment.
Yeah.
Then I'll do it, a business line of credit or some sort of business funding, in which case it won't affect my personal credit because it's under the business. And you're like, you know what you're doing. Like, all right, well, I know that I can turn this into that, 6 months of this. My return on that is 10,000 and with time. And then even, some business credit cards have like 0% interest for 18 months. So it's like you essentially, if you know the business, like you can go get some money without no interest for 2 years. Yeah. So
and it's like shit like this. I'm sure neither one of us grew up knowing, or nobody taught us this. It's like we learned this shit in adulthood.
Yep.
Like as soon as I got sober, I feel, of course, like when I got sober, I feel like that's when my life started, when I was 18. And yeah, learning how to build credit, how to have a relationship with a bank, open a bank account.
Even you saying that, like, we not equal. Like, you still, like, with all due respect, you still in the first quarter. You can be so much like...
Isn't that nuts?
Yes, because you'll be so much further than not only myself, but your friends and shit like that. Because, like, we speaking, I'm in the third quarter. You in the first and you got it. So, yeah, like... You gonna be straight.
I appreciate it.
Because like I'm saying, even now I'm listening to you. I'm like, hold up, man. She's 22 years old. What are we talking about?
I feel so like I just don't feel my age.
That
like when I talk about things, I'm making it sound like I'm older than I am, which I'm doing subconsciously, I think.
But your experiences make you feel like that. Like we just talking about stuff that when I was 15, that's fucking 32 years ago. Yeah. Like it feels like I lived that life, the life in prison, and then this life. It really feels like, and I'll mention something and it's like, yeah, I really did that. Like, so I can't imagine how you, like 10 years from now, you're gonna feel like, you live so much more. If you feeling like that now, like you feel like so much more, but you seem like you got it together. I would have preferred to go through my shit early like that and been super straight by like
I fucked up enough for me to like have the opportunity to make a change, and I just grabbed it by the balls and I was like, yeah, I'll change.
100%. My little brother is like that. Like he was able to like he went through some things, but if I look at me and my dad, my little brother was able to like circumvent that amount of time to figure his shit out. Like I basically followed my dad, for like a better words, right? My little brother he went through some shit and was like, nah, that shit ain't for me. And he was able to. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that even thinking about your age and leaving Cali and starting this and working in treatment, that's major. You know what I mean? like kids wouldn't even want to leave. And even you have both of your parents. I don't know what the situation is, but like you are all the way on the other side of the map. Like that's major. I'm sorry. So
Yeah, a lot of adulting and scary things. I'm honestly like now thinking back, like I am impressed.
Yeah,
like
you
I
should
moved
be.
across the country twice already.
Yeah, like, and that's like some people, man. Especially in the street, man. People live and die they whole lives in a 4 to 6 mile radius in each direction.
That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, like you know, you only getting this one shot, so you should be out this motherfucker doing some damage. Like I've been here, I've lived it. Like seriously, like so.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like Maryland gloomy, man. I wouldn't be able to stay here, man. Like,
you want to leave at some point?
I mean, if my I wouldn't be
As soon as your kid grows up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. But I'm not sure that I would ever want to just like live full time in Cali. But I definitely would, either Cali or Miami. I definitely would need it in small doses throughout the year for sure. Just the atmosphere, and I don't really like the cold neither. Like I would prefer to be in an environment where I can, as skinny as my legs is, right? I would prefer to be in an environment that I could wear shorts. Like, oh yeah, I feel like in Cali, definitely in Miami, you could wear, even if I had to wear a sweatshirt.
People only wear shorts in LA. Yeah.
It was strange to me when I went. It was cold here, and when we went, our friends there had jackets on, and I'm like, bro, like what? And they from here. One of them was from DC or Maryland too, and she was like, after you be here for a while, it changes.
It really does.
You'll start feeling cold, and I was like,
that is so true. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Of course.
Like you coming on, I didn't even know you, and this has been amazing.
Of course.
I'll see you around at the fucking gym. Hopefully.
I was hoping that I just had something to fucking contribute, man.
I think you did.
You know what I'm saying?
I really do. I feel like there's not a lot of insight about what you talked about with your prison experience, and I've never actually had somebody come on the podcast and talk about dealing and what that's like. I just really appreciate the new perspective.
Of course.
I learned something, and I'm sure somebody watching,
I hope so,
will appreciate it.
I really, 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 really hope so.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
That was good.